Bumpy is wondering why Jose Battle got arrested, but he didn't. Stella's big mouth is making big trouble. Omar comes through for Malcolm in a major way, and Bumpy finds a mole. This is the episode 7 recap for Godfather of Harlem. And absolutely, fam, if you're not watching this show, you definitely need to watch this one right here. All roads lead to Malcolm, and we're going to break it down. So the name of this episode is All Roads Lead to Malcolm, and the description reads, when Battle's arrested, Bumpy must find a way to spring him and find the mole. Bumpy discovers that Malcolm has more enemies than they thought. Columbo investigates why Chin put a hit out on him, while Mamie leaves Bumpy over Archie's death. So hopefully you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so you can get more of this right here, family. We see that Bumpy and the gang have that deal with the CIA, and yes, the cocaina is in their possession, and they're doing whatever they have to do to prepare it. Yes, Bumpy and Jose Battle are super happy. Why? Because they're making a whole lot of money from the coke that they got from the CIA. Here we go with the Italian guys, and they are like wondering why Columbo's coming in with his guys. Well, he's furious because Chin put a hit out on him, and it had to go through these guys in order to happen. Tommy is saying, hey, he should have thought about that before he tried to get with Stella. Columbo is puzzled because he's like, what are you talking about? They're saying that some guys in the cell told Chin, and Chin is going crazy. And he's like, listen, we don't get in your business, but you should have thought about that. We got rules. Columbo's like, listen, I would never do that. I understand the rules of the game and everything, but you guys are just crazy, right? For you to allow this to happen, I made you guys millions of dollars with all the doogie that came in and got rid of Bumpy, and this is how you treat me? Columbo gets pissed, tells them that they're useless, and walks out. Now, Jose Battle is admiring Bumpy on how he stood up to the CIA, and absolutely admires how he's handling things as far as the coke and getting it to the musicians and executives and everything else like that. So he also is like, yeah, I admire how you definitely are there for your friend Malcolm. And Bumpy tells him a little secret that, yeah, Malcolm is actually going to be speaking at the United Nations, and nobody really knows about it. He's trusting in Jose Battle, that Jose Battle doesn't tell anybody. Jose Battle lies and says, I would never betray you. I would never betray our partnership and our friendship. Man, oh man, oh man. So of course, Bumpy's kind of thinking about that. We shall see what happens. So the overhead lights come on, and who walks in the door? Pike comes in, and he's there, and we're thinking that he's coming to arrest Bumpy, and Bumpy's like, hey, you want a drink? You know what's going on? He's like, nah, actually I'm here to arrest Jose Battle for money laundering and everything else like that. And of course, they're shocked. He's looking at Battle like, what is going on? Because Battle has those ties with the CIA. But again, this is the FBI. So Bumpy's like, what is really going on here? Like, why didn't they arrest me? This is my place. But the FBI looks like they don't want Bumpy as of right now. He says goodbye, and Bumpy has to figure this out to now get Jose Battle out. Here we go with Stella. She is packing because after everything that happened in the last episode, she is free to go. Who shows up at the door? Columbo shows up. Definitely, she is kind of happy to see him, because they have kind of like a bond now, since he did save his life from Lombardo taking him out. So, he comes over there and says, listen, I got a couple of questions because, what would make Chen think that me and you had relations? And she's like, I don't know. He's like, I feel like you're not telling me something. And she's like, I don't know where that would come from. Maybe it would come from the lawyer. He saw that necklace that you gave me, and he automatically thought, hey, they got something going on. So, of course, Columbo's like, hey, did you try to persuade him that and let him know that there's nothing going on? She said, yeah, I tried. But he obviously went and told my father, and my father went crazy. Then he got Lombardo to try to take you out. So it's clear, looking at her face, you could tell she's just lying through her teeth. We all know the truth, that she told the lawyer that, yeah, Columbo tried to come on to her, and that's why the lawyer told him. But we're going to see exactly what happens now. So here we go with Bumpy and Wild Bill and Comrade, and they're sitting down and they're trying to figure out why is Battle in jail for money laundering and not him. So Comrade is like, listen, we got intel that it's one of your people that might have given him up and spoke to the feds. Of course, Bumpy's like, nah, not my people. No way. You know what I'm saying? There's no possible reason why they would do that. And of course, Wild Bill's like, listen, go to your people, find out. And whoever denies it the most is the one that actually probably went to the feds and spoke to them. So he's like, listen, you bring them in. He's like, nah, these are my people. I'll handle it. He's like, listen, you better handle it or we're going to handle it without prejudice. So Bumpy has to go and figure out who on his team ratted him out. So now we're at the Muslim mosque, and Elise shows Malcolm a newspaper article. It's on him, and they're drawing him and saying death to Malcolm and everything else like that. He jokes about it and laughs about it. He really is just kind of like laughing at the whole article and the picture. And of course, Elise is very concerned for Malcolm's life. There's a lot on the line. He's going to make that speech at the UN. And, Malcolm's just like, listen, we're going to do whatever we got to do. The mission must be done. And really, he's on some like, I know I'm going to die sometime soon. And she's like, what about, the family and everything else like that? He's like, listen, as long as the mission gets done, we're going to do whatever we need to do. Elise, again, really concerned for Malcolm, but he's going to do whatever he needs to do. Now, here we go with Omar talking to one of the sisters from the old Mosque number 7. Now, she has a lot of information, and Omar is asking her, hey, listen, if there's anything as far as going against Malcolm, I want to know about it. I want to be down for it. And she really admires him for doing what he tried to do to take out Malcolm and everything else like that. So she tells him to talk to the guys at the Newark Mosque. So here we go with Jose, Battle, and Bumpy. And Bumpy is still trying to figure out who could be the mole, who could be the rat, who could be the person that spoke to the feds about money laundering and everything to put you in jail. Of course, Jose Battle doesn't know who could it possibly be, but he's saying, listen, it's probably one of your guys, your big head guy from the bank that he doesn't like, that always gives him problems. But Bumpy's still on some like, nah, I don't think it's them. But he says it possibly is Jose Battle's people. Jose Battle's like, nah, they would die a slow death. So he's letting Bumpy know, you got to figure this thing out to get me out of jail, because I don't trust anybody at this point. And Bumpy's like, all right, hold tight. I'm going to find out something. So here we go. Stella is meeting up with the lawyer, as Columbo told her to do. He's happy to see her with his little red car, right? And who comes out of nowhere? Columbo, like, get out of the car, right? So they take him back to the office, beat him down. And Columbo's like, yo, how did he know or feel like, I was having something going on with Stella? And Stella's standing there, she knows the truth. She knows that she told him that they messing around, but she also told him not to say anything to Chin. Of course, that was the setup. He said whatever he said. And yeah, here we go. Columbo pulls out the strap. He's like, listen, there's nothing I can do to take that sanction off or anything. He's in solitary confinement. And he laughs. He's like, listen, man, there's nothing I can do, man. So Columbo's not playing with him, and he's like, there's nothing I could do. Stella stops him from beating him down. At the same time, she knows it's her fault why he's getting beat down and everything else like that. She's just not telling the truth to Columbo. So they let him loose, and yeah, he's like, I'm not going to be a lawyer anymore for Chin. And Columbo's like, listen, you're going to stay exactly where you are, all right? And you're going to absolutely tell Chin that I'm taking over, period, right? So Stella, she caused all of this mess. So here we go with Bumpy. He goes to the bank and he goes to his brothers like, listen, somebody talk to the feds. And the judge is like, I'm not going to stand for this. And, Bumpy's like, sit your ass down, man. Like, he always causing problems. And of course, Archie, the leader, he's like, listen, we would never do that. We would never betray you. He's like, I'm going to ask you on the honor of the fraternity. And they're like, listen, we would never do that to you. We're loyal to you. We admire your loyalty and everything that we got involved in while we go to the feds, and do that to ourselves. So, Archie is just like really adamant about saying no, they didn't talk to the feds, but at the same time, he's remembering what Wild Bill said, whoever pushes back the most likely is the mole. So here we go. Stella's sitting down with Columbo, and she's like, yeah, I'm sorry for all of this. And he's like, nah, it's not your fault. Like, they got a sanction out on me. They try to put a hit out on me. If you want to go, Stella, you can go because you saved my life. And then she finally comes out and tells the truth and says, hey, listen, it was my fault. I actually told, the lawyer that you was trying to come on to me, and he went and told my father. He's like, are you crazy? Like, do you know what you caused? Like, we're like enemies for life. And she's like, listen, I got you into this. I'm going to get you out of this. She said, listen, the same person that put a hit out on me, listen, we got to find out who that is. And once we find out who that is, then you can use that as leverage to take over the mob bosses, right? Once you take over the mob bosses, then you'll have control of everything. And he's like, well, who do you know? She's like, I know who to go to. So here we go with Wild Bill. He's sitting down with the FBI. So it's the CIA and the FBI. They're swinging their little schlongs back and forth. And he's like, listen, I need you to get Jose Battle out of jail like by lunchtime. He's like, nah, Jose Battle is ours. What do you want? What do you want? So FBI Pikeman is just on some like real jerk move. And Wild Bill is like, listen, you either get him out or we're going to have to play hardball. And, Pike is just like, hey, we're going to keep him. Jose Battle's ours. He's under investigation or whatever. So Wild Bill's like, listen, I got a picture of Hoover in a dress with a blonde wig. If you don't get him out, then we're going to release that to the press. So you already know what's about to happen. Here we go with Bumpy, and Bumpy runs home, and Mamie, beautiful Mamie, is making a sweet potato pie. He says, listen, I need a favor from you. And she's like, what? He's like, listen, I'm going to buy some tickets for Archie and his wife to go out of town. Remember how you said Archie's wife is saying that they're always busy and they can't go out of town? So, of course, Mamie's like, why? What's going on? What's wrong with Archie? Is he in trouble? Like, I want to know what's happening. He's like, listen, just do that for me. Don't worry about it. Are you back doing the doogie? Let me know. And he's not telling her anything. So she's like, yo, this is crazy. This is BS. What did you get Archie involved with? And he's like, listen, just tell him, get out of town as soon as possible. We'll have tickets waiting for him the whole nine. So she's not happy because, Bumpy's not telling anything, and she gets mad, and she throws that good sweet potatoes out in the garbage. Oh, man, I know it was going to be good. So here we go. Stella's mom comes back, and who's there? Stella's sitting there. She surprised her mom, and she drops the groceries. Oh, my God, with the cornflakes in and the whole nine. Oh, you're scared to live in daylight side of me? What is wrong with you? What are you doing here? And then here we go. We got Columbo. He walks in. He's like, how you doing, Miss Chicante? How are you? And he's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. I don't got time for this. He's like, yo, who'd you talk to put a hit out on me? I want to know. We want to know who put a hit out on me. And of course, Columbo's like, listen, I'm a gentleman. Don't make me get unsettled as a gentleman. He's like, all right, well, we're going to dig up the people, and you're going to go with us, and we're going to find out exactly who tried to put a hit out on Stella. So they go to where they buried the bodies, right? They buried the bodies for Stella. He's like, you sure you don't want to tell us? They digging them bodies up. It's smelling, it's stinking. So they find, whatever they find is, he's like, hey, keep digging. He's like, listen, we can stop this right now if you just tell me who tried to put a hit out on Stella. And she's like, I ain't telling you nothing. I'm not telling you nothing. He's like, you're a tough broad. So Columbo looks and he finds a watch on the dead body. It's like, I know exactly who this is. And you know who would give him this watch? Yeah, Tommy would give him this watch. You sure you don't want to tell us? And she's like, I don't want to say anything. And yeah, your boy pulls the strap out on her, of course. And yeah, you already know she gonna give up that information because she'd rather keep her life than keep that secret. So here we go, Archie and his wife, they about to get out of town. They got the butler loading up the car. And she's so happy to go. She's like, yeah, Bumpy, and they're so generous. We finally can get out of town and go to the Cayman Islands. We can do all this and do all that. And he's like, yeah, the question is, how all of a sudden that, they got these tickets waiting for us. So he looks all scared. And who rolls up? Comrade. That's right. Wild Bill's boy rolls up and shoots Archie in the head right there in front of his wife. Who's on the other side? Down from the train station. That's right, Pike, FBI Pike. Come to find out, Comrade is a mole for the FBI. Wow, that's right. And he's like, listen, man, I took care of this, man, but you know what? Let me handle these things. So he's talking to Comrade like, yo, is this getting too heated for you? Son? You've been undercover for 2 years now, and you ain't getting nothing on, the CIA. What's the CIA going to do next? What's Wild Bill going to do next? So yeah, that's right. Pike got this guy, Comrade, and he's a mole inside the CIA. This is crazy. So they're sitting down celebrating Jose Battle getting out, right? And, Bumpy's just like, yeah, so everything looks good. He's like, yeah, but we did find out it was one of your guys that was an informant. And Comrade's looking, he's like, Bumpy's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, they actually got information that he was talking to the feds on this particular date. And yeah, they took him out, they took him in. So Bumpy is like, dang, I was trying to get Archie out of town, but he didn't say anything. And of course, Wild Bill's looking at him. And, of course, Bumpy is just like, oh, man, they got him. They got him. Now, back at the house, Mamie is there consoling Archie's wife. She still got blood on her blouse and on her jacket. And she's just crying like, who would do this to Archie? I can't believe this. This is crazy, And she's telling Mamie, like, listen, you need to talk to Bumpy. He can find out who did this to my husband. And she's all crying and all upset. Like, this is crazy. They known each other since they was 14. So here we go. Your boy Columbo throws the watch down at the dead guy. And Tommy's like, what the hell is this? What are you bringing to me, huh? What's wrong with you? He's like, listen, man, I know the only other person that gives watches out like that, that's a Rolex, is you. He's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, huh? So he waves his guy to bring in Stella's mom, Mrs. Gigante. He's like, what are you doing here? What is she doing here, huh? She's like, I'm sorry. He knows everything. He threatened my life and he knows everything. He's like, listen, if the word got out that you was having sex with Chin's wife, you definitely be a dead man. He's like, get her out of here. This is no place for a woman, right? So they get rid of her. And Columbo's like, listen, from now on, I want you to put, the sanction out on Chin. If anything happens to me, then he's going to be taken out. All right, that's all you want? Yeah, then I want half of your profits from the doogie. He's like, get out of here. He's like, listen, you know what I'm saying? If I let this out, like, you're going down, man. And guess what? Now I'm going to take over Harlem. I'm going to take over all of Harlem. So, yeah, Columbo was taking over and he got something on the top boss's head. So here we go. They're getting ready for this speech. And who walks in? Omar walks in to talk to Malcolm and Elise. And he's like, yeah, can we go somewhere? Can we clear the room? So, of course, they clear the room. And your boy Omar is going through. He said, the reason why, I was so good at the mosque is because I was very thorough. So he's searching for bugs. He's going through the phones. He's going under the tables. And he's looking for everything. He looks up at the chandelier. And he's like, yeah, I'm very thorough. And what does he find? He actually finds a bug on top of the chandelier. So they've been listening to him all that time. He finds that bug and Malcolm's like, okay. So they've been listening to him all that time. And Elise is like, whoa, like she looks to be impressed as well. He takes the bug and he stomps it with his foot, right? So he's like, listen, I went to New Jersey and found out that the guys at the mosque are going to try to take your life, Malcolm. And I just want to be the first one to know. I acted like I was down with them and down for that cause to get the information to bring it back to you. And they're like, well, why'd you do that? And he's like, listen, I just wanted to, for you guys to forgive me and for you to know that I'm really down for the movement and down for Malcolm. So, of course, Elise is like, oh, really? Okay. She still doesn't really trust him like that. But he definitely is showing and proving and finding out that there was a bug there. He's like, Malcolm, I admire you, I appreciate you, and I just want to get back in your good graces. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to get back in the good graces of Elise as well. So he walks out, and he's about to walk out, and Malcolm's like, wait a minute, right? So they sit down, and Malcolm at this point wants to make him head of security. Of course, he's like, there's nothing in the world, nothing else in the world I would want than to do that. And he's like, yeah, of course, you can be the head, but with Elise's permission. And she's like, yeah, he could stay. He could stay. You know, Elisa's still feeling that man right there. But yeah, he's definitely coming through. And he's finding out information to help out Malcolm. And of course, Malcolm is pleased by that. Now, here we go. Your man Bumpy actually goes to the FBI. He's like, listen, you guys just left Archie wide open. Why would you do that? You know, now he's dead. Like, what's going on? And, you know, the FBI guy's like, we don't know anything about this Archie guy. We don't know him. Of course, he's lying through his teeth, right? Lying through his teeth. And Bumpy's just sitting there like, yo. And he's like, yo, do you think this is about, you know, the gangsters in Harlem or your little coke operation? You know, and Bumpy's just like, what? Like, they know everything. So the lady comes in and is like, hey, Pike, you have a meeting. He's like, all right, I'm coming. Right? So Bumpy's like, F that. He walks out and he looks on their little war board and he sees all the people that they're trying to take out. Malcolm, Castro, everybody. And Pike says to Bumpy Johnson, listen, you're just a peon in this thing. You know, it's not about you. It's about the sake of the country. And the guy walks out. And Malcolm, look at that. Look at that. Look, Malcolm, Castro, look at all of these people and the United Nations diagram of where the seating is. So Bumpy walks out. And here we go. Stella's about to finally leave, right? She's been trying to leave. And Columbo's like, listen, I got you a gift, right? So he gives her an envelope. He's like, yeah, look at it. Open it, right? So she opens up the envelope, and what is it? It's a ticket to Paris, France. And he set up a hotel for her to stay there for an entire month. So he's like, man, he's really looking out for her. I mean, how much do you think that was, right? And she's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, like, she's really happy. He's like, yeah, I mean, after everything you've done for me, like, it's only right that I take care of you, but I really don't want you to go. To be honest, I really don't want you to go, you know, because she's like, yeah, what do you want? He's like, oh, I actually want you to stay. And he's about to go in and she's like, Columbo, like, it's like, nah, I actually want you to work with me because, you know, a woman like you, you're smart and, you know, I really like you. But, you know, you definitely are like smarter than all of these goons out here. And she's like, do you think there's a place for a woman? He's like, well, a woman like you, definitely. She's like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. I could always leave, right? He's like, yeah, you can stay. So here we go. Bumpy comes downstairs at Jose Battle. They got Spanish music playing upstairs. Jose Battle's like, come and join the celebration, right? So Bumpy sits down, right, with these guys. And he's like, yeah, so, you know, everything is good, right? He's like, yeah, I actually sat down with Pike, you know, FBI. So Wild Bill's like, hey, you know what did he say? And he says, all roads lead to Malcolm. And they stop laughing. And Wild Bill is like, hey, you better be careful as far as your step. He's like, listen, yeah, we found out exactly who the mole is. And the mole is actually not in my organization. The mole is actually you, comrade. You're the mole. That's right. This guy right here works for the FBI. He's like, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. He's like, what if I take out my strap here and hit you in the knee? Maybe it'll come back to your memory. So Wild Bill's like, hey, listen, this is my guy. Let me handle it. All right. So he's like, listen, whether it's true or not, you need to be on the up and up and be straight with me. Are you part of the FBI? Yes or no? He's like, no, I'm not part of the FBI. Boom, your boy Wild Bill takes out the strap, shoots dude straight in the head. He is done. Comrade is done. And Wild Bill is like, listen, true or not, I don't like loose ends, period. He just took him out. So he's like, yeah, everything's all good. He's like, well, I should have sniffed out the rat a long time ago too. Because Battle, you're the only person I told about Malcolm speaking at the UN. How did Comrade find out? I know you're the rat too. You know, I trusted you, man. And this is it. This is it. It's over right now. You know, I can't trust you anymore, and our partnership is over, right? And Jose Battle's like, listen, man, do you understand what your friend is doing, man? And it's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm out of here. We're done. It's over. Comrade is on the ground. Bumpy walks out. Now, here we go. Mamie is packing up. I mean, she got a whole suitcase. She's looking at the jewelry that Bumpy gave her, whatever. And, you know, she just left it all there, right? She just left it on the bed. She's about to walk out the door. Who comes in? Bumpy walks in before she leaves. And she's walking out, and she's looking at him. And Bumpy's like, what's that? What's going on? And she looks at him with a disgusting look on her face. And she slaps the taste out of Bumpy's mouth. Obviously, she's upset because he's the one that got Archie killed in the whole 9. And that is the end of episode 7. That's the recap. All roads lead to Malcolm. Family, let me know what you thought about this episode. I thought it was a great episode. A lot of details. And listen, I really like this show, family. If you're finding me for the first time, go ahead, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, absolutely comment, and make sure you share this video with everyone you know that loves Godfather of Harlem. And I appreciate you for subscribing, family. Definitely, I appreciate all your support and your love. And thank you for watching. Hey, listen, fam, we're going to keep this thing going. Fam, let's keep this thing going for real. I appreciate you all for watching, and until next time, salute.